This conference and fair is being organized under the theme, Choosing Your Career in Real Estate and Entrepreneurship. This conference, among other things, seeks to create opportunities to empower the African youth in real estate and entrepreneurship. It seeks to empower minds and creates opportunities. It nurtures future leaders, creates networking opportunities, develops internships, and builds capacity of participants. This conference could not have come at a better time. Oftentimes, when we discuss entrepreneurship, the focus and attention is usually on mainstream production, buying, and selling. Often, real estate is not considered adequately. I am delighted that this conference is helping to change this outmoded narrative. I must say that there are opportunities at this conference today to listen, discuss, share, interrogate, learn, all manner of creative, innovative, and transformative ideas for driving entrepreneurship. I am excited at the lineup of different experts who will deliberate on key entrepreneurship issues for participants. African Youth in Real Estate Conference and Entrepreneurship Fair 2024 promises to expose all participants to new and emerging ideas that will help young and emerging entrepreneurs to match up with the emerging opportunities and challenges in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Ghana and beyond. I urge us all to be involved in every aspect of today's conference that will also take place today and tomorrow. I congratulate all the planning committee members for the great work done. A special gratitude to Ms. Hannah Atiase, the CEO of E-Wales Realty and Consultancy, and her amazing team for the fruitful collaboration that has resulted in this joint conference. Once again, thank you all and have a memorable, inspiring, and productive conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akushika Ando. Please, let's put our hands together, do it better for her. Thank you. We'll have some of the past mentees sharing their experiences with us. In fact, this program has been running for some time, and there are students who have benefited from this initiative, this intervention, and they have a story to tell. Shall we please make welcome Philip, Kofi, Mafo, Idrisu, Osabote. Please, let's put our hands together for them. Okay, this is Philip, by the way.
Good morning. Her Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kofi Mafo, a mentee under the mentorship program of the maiden edition of AWA 2023. And it's an absolute honor to stand before you today at this esteemed event. And I am grateful for the opportunity to share my experiences and insights with all of you. So I believe love can be found in unexpected places, and last year I felt love at this very program. Not the conventional kind of love, but love for real estate sparked by the initiative of Hannah Atiase and E-Wales Realty, a trusted name in the real estate business. This was an opportunity that I did not take for granted. It was a blessing for me to be selected together with 10 other participants in the mentorship program during this maiden edition to intern at several other partnering agencies. It was an incredible experience that set me on a path of personal and professional growth. I was fortunate to intern at the organizing company, that is E-Wales Realty and Consultancy, where I joined the digital and creative team. There, I contributed to website management and other digital marketing tasks. Not just that, but I was able to learn the intricacies of real estate from the sales department and all other departments, including expert insights, knowledge, and support from the CEO herself, Madam Hannah Atiase. Initially, I had a passion for real estate, but I didn't know how to begin, as I had the misconception that I needed millions before participating in this field. But however, the internship was where action and participation in this field took place. My internship was an eye-opener to the several opportunities that exist in the world of real estate. And just as we commit ourselves wholeheartedly when we find new loves, I dedicated myself to upgrading through Gareb certified master classes organized by EWAS Realty and Consultancy, and I also immersed myself in its teachings and embraced the opportunities it presented. It became a cornerstone of my real estate journey, guiding me towards success and growth. And today I speak to the glory of God through the help and guidance of Madam Hannah Atiase. I am setting up a brand in real estate called Eminence Prime Realty. This is a Thank you. This is a startup journey, and I entreat you to be on the lookout for the success of this story, as this will be a story for another day. You are not here by mistake. That is what I am here to tell you. And even if you were, I encourage each and every one of you, especially the young minds present here today, to take this opportunity seriously, and you will also end up giving a testimony just like me. And it is my wish for all of you to get an internship opportunity and embrace this opportunity wholeheartedly. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to EWAS Realty and its partners for shining a spotlight on me. I'll always cherish this experience and remain grateful. Thank you all for your attention, and may we all find love, just as I did, and success in our real estate endeavors. Thank you all.
You found great love. Wow. No other love but the love for real estate. That's what he found here last year. And that love has been everlasting since. Thank you so much for this. Our second mentee is on his way. So we would proceed while we are at it, and also take some good feedback as well before the program ends today. But it's good to know that in the midst of it all, there are people who are here who can attest to what EWELS and also other collaborators are doing to help young people identify opportunities in the real estate sector. Please, let's put our hands together for our mentee and others here to come. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, all protocol observed, we would move to hearing our first presentation on the Real Estate Act. And because we are not operating in the space without laws, we need to know exactly what the details of the Real Estate Act is. And to help us understand this is the Chief Executive Officer of the Real Estate Council, Mr. Nana Otu Texan, if he's here. Mr. Texan, please, let's put our hands together as we make welcome Mr. Texan.
Thank you very much, MC, for the opportunity. Thank you, EWELS and Gareb, for putting this on. Her Excellency, distinguished invited guests, I'm very pleased to be here today, especially to speak to young people. I heard about an experience previously for somebody who was giving a speech at a graduation ceremony. And what he said, for me, changed my view of the youth. He was happy to be there, to be with the students as they were graduating, to see them through life. But he said the most important consideration for him was that the youth were those who were going to pay his pensions. So he had to make sure that wherever they were going and however they moved through life, he had a role in it. And from that point, I realized that for those of us this age going upwards, sometimes we don't concentrate on the youth because we feel they're taking our market. But if we do not develop the youth, there will be nobody to pay our pensions when we are old. So it's very important that we take the youth and their growth and development seriously. So I am, I guess, the chief servant for the Real Estate Agency Council. I've been going at this for 2.5 years or so. My brother Jacob knows what we've been going through. We had our office launched, I think, on Tuesday, and we're pushing ahead with the regulation of the sector. I think I did ask that you get your questions ready, because I'm the type that would rather engage than give you long, boring speeches. The act itself is mundane, goes through the boards and the things that we provide for. But what is most important for you to realize is that there are 5 categories of people who qualify to practice when we start regulation. They are lawyers regulated by the General Legal Council, valuation and estate surveyors under the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, those who qualify through courses that we put out and pass, those who are non-resident and qualify to practice abroad, and those who come through the transitional provisions under Section 59, which is those who would have practiced 5 years prior to coming into force of the Act. For these 5 categories of people or entry routes, we have 5 categories of practices which you can practice in. So we have the standard brokers and agents, and then we have property marketers, property managers and facilities managers, and property developers. So if you looked at the Act as was given to you as your assignment, you would see that in Section 3, it has 2 different parts. It has real estate agency practice, and it has real estate agency services. So in terms of implementing the Act, we brought in brokers, we brought in developers, marketers, and facilities managers, primarily because, as you are all aware, there are developers now who are interacting with the market directly, and therefore we have to make sure that they are regulated. If they come saying that they will build you a 2-bedroom house, what are the assurances that they will build you a 2-bedroom house? When they take your money, are they going to turn up selling the property to somebody else and refunding your money and all that? We also have property managers, specifically on service charges, and other property management, work, which does not seem to be going very well. Now you can buy a piece of land in an estate, and then they force you to try and use their builders and all that, and if you refuse, then your things get missing. Service charges is like a magic figure in Accra, I keep saying. Service charge is an accounting exercise. So if you see anybody who is charging you a fixed amount for service charge every year, that person has something to answer for. It is actually supposed to go up and down depending on what the money is used for on a yearly basis. And then with marketers, so we have people who are offering, I think a gentleman, I've forgotten his name, is looking to go into online marketing of some sort for real estate. Now, if the developers and the brokers and the developers are being restricted to provide information in a particular standard or to a particular standard, say tell us what the land size is, the room sizes are, then we would have to make sure that we regulate the marketers as well so that they also provide the same amount of information. One thing which is a big bugbear of mine is when you see a board which says 2-bedroom for rent, Adenta, contact Kukumosi. When you call Kukumosi and you have a fake accent like mine, then Kukumosi has a different price for you. When you call and then you speak Ga or you speak Hausa or whatever, you have a different price. It shouldn't happen. You should be able, as a consumer, to decide whether you want a property or not right at the listing. So you see a lot of websites that we have internationally, not as much here, that you have everything. So you can decide before you go. That would almost readily take out the fact that people put up properties which you know, for instance, would rent for 5,000 Ghana cedis, and they would advertise it for 1,000 Ghana cedis a month just to draw you in, and then they keep taking viewing fees, and people are just making a living out of that. But if the information is available, then you're able to decide and you're not going to engage with such crooks. So primarily, we are hoping to have our delivery cloud-based. That is because real estate processes now is a lot of time already. So we are hoping that when we do get the finances and everything to put our systems together, you would actually interact with us entirely online. As I said on Tuesday, if you do come to our offices, then it has to be that you are bringing my Christmas present, which I wouldn't refuse. But ordinarily, from the comfort of your office, you should be able to give us all the information we need. You should be able to make an application for your licenses, and we should be able to give you back whatever you need. We are also going to seek to have every regulated person identifiable by a QR code. And what it would mean is that for the firms, if you go into an office, just at the front door, there's a QR code. You can scan the QR code if you have a smartphone, and that will tell you whether the person is current or delinquent. So it's either you'd see a red mark to say that the person is not current, or green which says they are current, or orange if they are subject to some investigation or the other. And the QR code is in two parts. Is the code and a kite mark. And you would have specific categorization. So if you don't have a smartphone, once you see the QR code, you should be able to say that, or you would know that the person is either a broker, a marketer, or a developer. And you would also be able to tell which regions they operate in. So what is happening now is there could be a firm primarily based in Accra, but claims to be working in Tamale. So you rent from them in Tamale and you have a problem, and they say you have to call Accra, and you know nobody's leaving Accra to come and deal with your issues in Tamale. So we are not against firms working together. But if you don't have an office in Tamale, then you are not working in Tamale. We are not going to license you to work in Tamale. And so your QR code as well includes a letter code for each region you're working in. So for us as consumers, once you see it, you readily know whether, okay, I'm in Western region, this agent doesn't work in Western region. So you don't waste your time with them. So we are trying to bring in a lot of these innovative features and hope that together we can build a better regulated real estate sector in the country. Because at this point, where we are is not good. And we do also have international obligations, especially for money laundering. And this is what is going to help us get to that and take our boxes. So as I said, I'm not one for long speeches. Thank you very much. Ms. Atiase, I brought one of my acts, which the distinguished guests would sign. I will look for the one who would ask the most piercing question, if I should put it that way. I want somebody to put me on my foot. I want you to ask a question which I have no answer to. And then you would get something from me. If possible, I would even give you an internship or something in my office. I think too often, we just do the mundane. We just do the common, the simple things. So I'm looking out for that person who would ask the most searching question, something that they've researched, and then I would make sure that I give them a handsome reward. So thank you. I don't know, Mr. MC, if the questions are ready.
There are some questions that some of the students have for you, and that's what we're sorting out. If any of you have questions, this is the time to ask. You can kindly put up your hand. The microphone will be given to you, and then you would ask your question.
My name is Roxanne Fus, a graduate of real estate from KNUST. Please, I would like to ask a question. Imagine you are an investor who is willing to invest into the real estate sector. Which form of property market or which type of real estate is it appropriate for you to invest in? That's my question I want to ask.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. I like the imagination you are putting me in. It comes with a lot of money, and I hope in the future I can. So I guess it depends on what you're trying to achieve. The market is, you can go into farming, you can go into commercial property. It depends on what you're trying to achieve, and it depends also on how much money you have. So if you have 100,000 Ghana cedis, I would push you further up north because land is cheaper, and you can do some farming and get something out of it. If you've got $1 million, it also comes with its category. So it's not a straightforward answer as such. And I'm giving this response only from my background as a real estate person. and not linked with my position as such. But it depends on a lot of factors. It is easy just to say, oh, Ghana is ripe for investment, come in and invest. Your own interest is also important because you may not want to invest in some sectors. Some sectors have more risk and therefore more reward. And so you can lose everything. Others are flat lines. You know, you can get in and make a little bit, but it's a long-term sort of investment. So it depends on how much money you have, what your interests are, and I guess the markets you want to play in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there's a hand there as well. While the microphone moves, there's a question that came through online. This one says, good morning. On the issues of consumer protection and transparency in property transactions, how does the Real Estate Act also address that? And what mechanisms do you believe will be put in place to enforce compliance? So, consumer protection and transparency in property transactions, and what mechanisms do you believe will be put in place to enforce and compliance with respect to the details of the Real Estate Agency Act?
Okay, so generally, the Act and everything it provides for is to engender transparency and consumer protection. So I say we're doing soft real estate. Soft real estate being we are not building, we do not particularly, or we would not go into, for instance, why a building has a crack or the other. We are dealing with the people who interface between the consumer and the person who is offering. So we would not, for instance, be getting involved with landlords and all that. In terms of how we're going to enforce it, the Act provides for penalties for breaches. We would have to, of course, when you're doing regulation, you have to be careful. If you do not take care and you go in hard at the beginning, everybody goes underground and you lose everything. So if you see with a lot of associations and how they came by, I guess Garib would be an example, but it's a global phenomenon. When you start, you get everybody in. Anybody who is interested and who qualifies in a specific, within a specific requirement that are set out. Then over time, you either train them to come up to the standard, or you let those who fail actually fall out. We cannot start by being so strict that those who are quacks go underneath, and then we start running rings around them. But there are genuine people who perhaps now may not be fully qualified, but whom we have to bring up over time to get to that standard to be able to offer what we are looking for. So in terms of compliance, the Act is full with a lot of provisions. I particularly say that in our first year of operation, I would love to put about 10 people behind bars, so that we would know that it's working. Otherwise, Ghanaians, we don't like to enforce the law. We don't like to push people to rules. So 10 people behind bars in the first year would be a good thing.
So that will send some fear
Yes.
into the people.
Yes.
Put 10 people in jail.
Simple.
Simple.
So if anybody wants to try it, please, wait till after the first year.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrews Aglobi. I'm a lecturer. I teach a number of courses, including real estate, finance, and investment. So my question is the first one, to be able to understand your institutions. For example, seeing Ghana Real Estate Agency Council. If you can give us some level of background, what you do, and then also whether you are a government entity, and then your establishment, so that we can have some fair idea. And then also you said about licensing. So does it mean that, from what I'm picking, mean that you can be able to license, sanction, punish, revoke, and all that, So some level of that background understanding. Now, my question in regarding to these few comments is as somebody who teaches students, we have a problem of publications. Sometimes if you need financial information, mostly from this industry, You can't do any real analysis, because if you go to the banking industry, you can get their financial statement. If you go to the insurance, you can get their financial statement. If you go to pensions, you can get their financial statement. But when you come to the real estate, it's a major stuff. So that's what I want to understand your institution more especially. So are you going to gather data? What exactly are you doing? Is there a source that someone can maybe write to you and get some data for analysis, for research? Those are some of the information that I wish if we can get more of you in this particular period. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much. So this is one thing which I always say we would struggle with. I get asked very often, because there are so many real estate associations and groupings around, whether we are like everybody else. The difference with the Real Estate Agency Council is that it was set up by an act of parliament. So it's the Real Estate Agency Act 2020, Act 1047. So what we do is backed by law, as opposed to any of the associations that are Ghana Institution of Surveyors, all those associations out there are associations of private individuals. They would help to regulate and bring their members in shape. But ultimately, everybody has to be regulated or registered under the Real Estate Agency Council. Without that, you legally cannot operate. So that is, I guess, the force of law with which we come. And I can understand the confusion, because there are names out there that sound like this. And that is why in setting up, I made sure that our logo had the coat of arms, just so that people know that it's not as if I've created something in my bedroom and I'm going around sharing it. So yes, it is set up as a government entity under the Ministry of Works and Housing, and therefore has the force of law. So yes, our licensing is going to be such that we can revoke, we can bring people in, we can sanction. If you have an issue with an agent, you can bring them to us, we would sanction them. So we've got all that regime within the Act given us. Of course, we haven't done our regulations yet, but that is going to come sometime soon. Again, publication. So I did not go into this at the beginning, but there is an obligation for every regulated person to send data through to us. So if you're an agent, you're a broker, you're a developer, in fact, for developers, the regime we seek to put in place is that once they identify the land, we need to have all their permits, we need to have their building plans, we need to have their financial projections. It's a system that pertains to India now, which we're trying to copy. So we have that base information. That helps us if somebody makes a complaint. So for instance, as we hear sometime during this week, a developer may have oversold a development. We would know if we have that data. Now, one thing that I would want from academia, and we have had some discussions with people in academia, is for you to tell us what sort of data points you need. Because we have a sweeping ability to collect data, so long as they are relevant to the regulatory duty that we're doing. And I guess whatever you ask for within real estate would be within our regulatory remit. So if you let us know exactly what you're looking to achieve and the data you want, then we can make it part of the returns that we get in. It is such that perhaps we won't find the advantages in the first couple of years. But in, say, 3, 4, 5 years, we would have enough data to be able to tell, for instance, that the average house or the average 2-bedroom property in Adenta is sold for 100,000 cedis. And for us, people do ask me the question sometimes, are you going to regulate prices? Are you going to make sure? We can't regulate prices. That is not our remit. But when the data is there, when the information is there, you and I can go onto a website and we can tell that, for instance, on a particular street in East Legon, the last sold amount was 2 million Ghana cedis. You would be irrational to go and pay 5 million Ghana cedis when you know that, of course, the difficulty we have with valuation and things like that in Ghana is houses are not similar. So you can be comparing 2-bedroom houses on the same street. One is on a 100 by 100 site, another is on a 70 by 90 site. But we are still going to be able to use AI and algorithm to actually come to a central point. And we will very much work with people in academia like yourselves, to fit and also is useful for the average person. I think I have no more questions, right? Oh, okay.
Thank you. Please, my name is Kingsford. I'm a level 4 student. First of all, I would want to commend you for the great initiative that you are bringing on board for the success of the real estate industry. So my question is pertaining to how digitalized you are making the industry to be, in the sense of, you made mention that in coming up, you are not going to allow people to just have an office at a place, then at the same time work at different places without necessarily having office there. I would want to ask that, is it not enough how digitalized things are becoming for a real estate firm to have an office only in Accra, but at the same time operate in Tamale or Boliga without necessarily having a physical office, but through the medium of technology, they could deliver their services to their customers? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. So, professionally, I am a valuer. If you gave me a house to value in Accra, I wouldn't value it. I've lived in Accra most parts of my life. It is because as a people, we think that, or mostly we are driven by money and the fees that we would get. So we do not know our boundaries. So you have professionals who do everything. It is not helpful. I would not do evaluation in Accra because I do not do valuation. I have no comparable evidence. I can call my mates and get information and put a document together and get 10% and be smiling to the bank. But it is not proper. If we are to do things properly, real estate is not something you can do online. You can offer it online, but somebody has to come and view it. The person who rents it needs a service. So you are here in Accra and you're offering a property in Tamale, and you're saying that if that person needs to view, you are convincing me as a regulator that you're sending somebody from Accra to go and get that person to view. Why don't we empower the people in Tamale? And I am not, or we would not stop anybody who has an agency in Accra or a brokerage in Accra from working with somebody in Tamale. You can there's somebody at least on the ground, because that would also mean that there are, for instance, there's a Ghanaian lawyer who has left this country and most likely enjoying life in the UK, because they qualify to register. They would say, okay, fine, I'm in the UK, I'll use my license to register an agency in Accra, and you and I will go to that office and we'll be back in the same place where we started, because there'll be nobody in that office who regulates what is happening in that office. So if you read the Act, one of the main things in the Act is for each professional person who's regulated to have an office. So it is not like I am saying that you must have an office in Tamale. The law says you must have an office in Tamale. And because the law says you must have an office in Tamale, I must find a way to justify what the law says. And I can see reason in professional practice why you must have an office in Tamale to serve the people of Tamale. So yes, digitalization, wonderful, perfect, but it has its limits, because this is a human-to-human interaction thing. If that person who rents has an issue, I do not expect that they will be calling you to leave Accra to go and serve them. But it doesn't stop you. If somebody calls your company in Accra and says, you know what, I need a property in Tamale, all you have to do is to find an agent who is registered and regularized in Tamale and share whatever you have with them. I'm sure they would also have custom in Accra and they would want you to do it. But we would not seek to register somebody or a firm who says they are nationwide, yet they are not nationwide. That is where that is coming from.
Okay, so we would have the last question. Oh, wow. Okay, last two. Oh, wow. Okay.
I haven't been asked a question directly on the Act yet, so I think I'm taking
there's
my
a question
act
on the
back.
Act about enforcement and then also issues about customer protection. I think that was the second question, and you said you were going to jail 10 people in the first year just to.
But that's too
send something.
general. I want somebody to quote me a part of the act and ask a specific question. That then tells me they've read it. The general ones.
Right. What's the price for that? Is it like you're going to give 2 bedroom house
The price will come, but I want to see that somebody has really read the act and
if there's a price for that, I know UPSA students will get it right. Is it not? 2 bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hello.
Sir. Great. Who has a microphone?
Yeah. Please, my name is Stanley, a level 100 student in UPSA, and I'm kind of new to the entire real estate business. So I just wanted to ask if you could give an advice or points which could help me start the business or come into a part of the business to like know how everything goes about.
Okay. This should have happened before you started the course. But now that you're on the course, I say you're on the right path. What is most important is to pass your course. And also, whilst you're on the course, find opportunities to actually learn practically what is happening outside. Because real estate, as we say, it's real estate, but it's a very broad field. You can perhaps have an interest in marketing, development, management, valuations. There are different angles to it. So as you go through your course, you've just started in the first year, as you go through your course, you must try and find a niche for yourself, something which you're happy about, something which you would love to sleep and wake up to go to. Don't just do the course because you're on the course. I tell a very interesting story. I never set out to do real estate. I applied to Legon to do law. I didn't get in. Then I went to KNUST, and for the courses that I'd done at A-level, it was only land economy that I could read. And I've never regretted it. You might hit luck like that, but it doesn't work for everybody. So make sure once you're in, you either make it yours or you go away from it. That's the only advice I can give.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well done, Nana. My name is Dr. Stan Adiaba, a lecturer in Real Estate Management and Finance, UPSA. I wouldn't ask a question on the law because I was part of the stakeholders who represented Ghana Institutional Surveyors to validate the draft bill then.
Yeah.
My colleague did mention data. The data the sector or we in academia we want to see is real estate contribution to GDP.
Okay.
And it should be disaggregated. The retail sector, what is the contribution? The commercial, the housing, the various sectors, even rural real estate, so that it can inform government policy for the kind of support it will give to the council and then the sector. My question is on implementation. How are you closely going to work with the banks, the financial institutions? Because that is where you can really track the real estate exchanges in the market. Here's the system that most of the transactions are tabletop transactions. For the fact that when it comes to stamp duty payment, you will not see the real consideration quoted in the documents. Then the third leg is how are we bringing on board the numerous freelance real estate agents who put notice on the board, 2-bedroom available, call this number. That is where I see the challenge. How do we get them on board into the system? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc, who is a senior course mate. So the banks and the financial institutions, we do not have the ability to deal with them in that sense. But in terms of client accounts, which the law provides for, each regulated person should have client accounts. What is happening is that people take the client's money, say they sell your house, 1,000 cedis, and then somehow the money, swims like in a swimming pool and ends up in private pockets. Ideally, what you hold for your client should stay with your client. We are not able to go into bank accounts unless there's a suspicion, for instance, for money laundering and things like that. But we do have a very strong tool, which is in the concept of transaction certificates that we have to issue. Once we start regulation, no property can be registered with the Lands Commission unless we have issued a transaction certificate. Now, that transaction certificate, in terms of information we would require, would give us the Ghana card details of who is buying or who is selling. So that the transaction certificate concept is not for renting, it's more for selling and buying. So we would have to liaise with Lands Commission, which means that before you even get to your stamp duty stage and all that, if you lie, that's fine. But that would be information you'd have given to us upfront. So Lands Commission would know from us how much you bought it for. And a lot of the advantages or the corrections in the system would not happen in the first few years. It is over time when you would see that, okay, it couldn't have been right that this house was sold for 100,000. Then we can readjust. So I would not stand here and give the impression that everything is going to be perfect from day one. We get the data in, we speak to some of you in academia, we would know what sort of data points you want and how best to even ask the questions so that we get them. The advantage we have is, and I'm fighting with NIA over this, we are not subject to the Data Protection Act. Because we are not subject to the Data Protection Act, we pretty much have a more blanket room to collect information. And when we collect information, you cannot tell us to take it off our database because it's statutorily mandated. As opposed to if Tonaton sells your property for you, you can write to them to say, I don't want to be known, take me off your database. But you can't do that with the Real Estate Agency Council. So we would hope that with data, we would learn more and we can put more things in place. Stamp duty, yes, that will be corrected once we start getting the data over time. Those who are on freelance, as I said earlier on, we're looking to get everybody in. Because if you look at the transitional provisions under Section 59, those who have practiced prior can actually come in. And that is because you couldn't start or bring in a law and make it as though there's not a system in place and everybody is illegal, and just pick a few people and register them. So we'll try and bring them on for those who want to play ball. But those who don't want to play ball, just 10 in the first year. And then hopefully we would, after we visit them in the police station and the news is out there, maybe we'll get the others to play ball.
Interesting. Let's put our hands together for Nana, please. Nana is our keynote speaker. So, Nana, please stay with me. There are a few more questions because you mentioned money laundering. It's another area of interest as well because, there's this suspicion that a lot more people who are laundering money in Ghana are sort of cleaning the money in the real estate sector, where they get the dirty money and then they buy houses or apartments. So you see a lot of these apartments, luxury apartments in town that have not been occupied but have been bought. And nobody is staying in there. And there are more houses without owners in this country. So that's another area that I'd want us to touch on. But please stay with me because we want to hear from our special guest here. She has to take leave of us, but before she comes, I want to tell you who she is. Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Erica Bennett is the convening founder and head of mission of the Diaspora Africa Forum, DAF, the first and only diplomatic mission in the world dealing specifically with diaspora issues. Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Erica Bennett is a dynamic and positive motivational speaker, author, and seasoned diplomat who has traveled and lived in Africa for over 45 years, bridging the gap between the diaspora and Africa. Dr. Bennett's devotion to her work as a bridge between the diaspora and Africa and her work in promoting diaspora affairs has also earned her quite a number of awards all around the world. The most recent award received by the ambassador is the U.S. Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award and the International Distinguished Leadership Award 2022, which was bestowed upon the ambassador by President Joseph Biden at the National Press Club, Washington, D.C. on September 29, 2022 for her outstanding contributions and work in the United States as well as Africa. Other tremendous awards include the Africa Global Leadership Award in London, the Trumpet Awards in the United States, and then also the Pan-African Women of Excellence Award in South Africa, the Visionary Leadership Award in Washington, D.C., the Africa Woman of the Year in Ghana, Women in Entrepreneurship honoree in Ghana, Envoy of Peace from the World Voices of Peace in Ghana, and an award for her excellence in work and leadership in bridging the gap between the African diaspora and Africa in the Ajay Festival in Nigeria. Dr. Bennett was a trusted advisor to ECOWAS and also served on the advisory council of the past president of Ghana. Dr. Bennett has been an informal trusted advisor to several presidents on the continent. Dr. Bennett is also the co-chair of the Africa Women of Excellence Award Scheme, which recognizes and honors African women and women of African descent.
Good morning. Now, you guys stand up. Now, I was sitting there with my sister, and I said, wait a minute, now what is happening with this group? I mean, everybody's, are you hungry? Do you need to eat?
Wow.
I mean, wait a minute, let's shake it off here. Wait a minute, now, we gotta, come on now. We gotta shake up. Let me hear something. Let me shake up. Shake it off. Okay, you can sit down now. Good morning. Wait a minute, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much. I mean, it was very, very informative information. Let's give him a big round of applause. Let's give him a big round of applause. Now, one of the things, as I said, my interaction is going to be very brief, but I want you, how many of you really want to be rich? Let me just start off with that. Who wants to be rich? Raise your hand if you want to be rich. Stand up if you want to be rich. Stand up if you want to be rich.
Hey, there are some people who are seated.
Those that are seated, sit down. Okay, have a seat. One of the things that I really want, Hannah, please come up here. You know, she gets embarrassed when I bring her up and make her talk and all of that, but I want you to know her. This is a young, dynamic, beautiful, intelligent real estate agent who is getting rich. I want you to understand that. She's getting rich. And she's not just getting rich for her, but she's getting rich for what this can do for this country. You know, this event, and I don't want you to take this event lightly. This is an opportunity for your life to be changed. Are you with me? Are you with me? This is an opportunity, and that's why everything that's being said, I want to hear some passion. I want to feel that you're understanding what's happening and you're participating. You see, in life, you get what you put into it. If you put nothing in it, you're going to get nothing out of it. Are you with me? Are you with me? It's very, very important that, and this is an example. You see, Ghana has an example, and I know that the agency is going to use her expertise. You're going to use her experience. You see, and one of the things that you're doing is very compelling, because I've been in Ghana. Don't get confused by this American accent now. I have been in Ghana 22 years, and I am proudly a Ghanaian. Proudly a Ghanaian. Give me a big round of applause. You see, and being here all of these years, we get all kinds of stories where people have been duped and all of that kind of stuff. And that's why what's happening today is extremely important. Those of you young people who want to go into real estate, it's very important that you understand that we have to have a regulation and we have to have rules in terms of how we do it. Hannah has worked in the United States, she's worked all over, so she can really be very helpful to the council, and I really hope that you really use her in a real way. Now, she's very busy, she's getting rich, but, you know, she'll take some time to help, okay? I'm charging her to take some time to help. But my comment really is for you young people. You create your world. The good, the bad, the ugly, you create it. Don't have a victim syndrome. You know, oh, poor me, this is what's happening in Ghana. We don't have this, we don't have. Look at what we do have in Ghana. Ghana has everything. Everything. And one of the things that I'm so glad about what's happening today is that we have you, young people who can really change this country. Young people who really, really, when you give your passion and you understand who you are, you will make the difference in this country. Are you with me? Are you with me? Wait a minute, now that's too weak. Are you with me? All right. So I am going to have to go because, as I said, I have another appointment, and I'm always on time, as Hannah knows. I was here at 9:15. You said be here by 9:30. I was up in here. So I just really want to say that to you. I really want you to give this conference your all. I want you to really be very passionate. I want you to participate, and you'll get out of it what you put into it. Are you with me? Are you with me? So in closing, did you want to say something, Dr. Luck? Okay, Dr. Luck is bishop and all of those wonderful things and all of that, and she speaks to people all over the world. So I just wanted to see if she wanted to say something, but I guess I've said enough for both of us. So we're going to have to go, but I really, 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 really want you to put all you have in this. I want you to give the passion, the interest, because this one day can change your life. This one day can change your life. Are you with me? Yes. Are you with me? Yes, yes. All right, stand up. Stand up. As I leave this room, I wish we had a little music or something, because, I mean, this group is just, you know, look at me, I'm 74, and I can dance. You see, there's no music. Can we get a little music here? Give me a little music.
Wow. This music comes with a dance, actually. No, who can do the dance?
That song. Yeah, play that.
Who can do the dance? It's certainly not me.
I can do it.
Who can do the dance?
Hey!
No, you can do it. Come.
Let me hear
You don't want a two-bedroom house. She's running away.
Come on now. Come on.
Some of you are looking. You want to see what's happening. Can you increase the volume a bit for us? Wow. Okay, let's put our hands together. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Please take your seats. Thank you very much. Questions? Here we go. Yeah. But now, while we're at it, the bit about money laundering, right? Because this is a conversation that, at least for the past number of years, we've been having, especially, you know, those of us within the business sector, about how a lot of the quote-unquote dirty money is moving into real estate. So you have a lot of people who are buying houses, and that's also influenced the pricing of houses, because the houses prices just shoots up because people who have very easy money, dirty money, just go and they don't even negotiate the price. Because if you say 3-bedroom is, say, like $600,000, they don't negotiate. Unlike some of us who will still go and beg to reduce and even go for a mortgage, you don't get. They just put the money down and leave. And even that has influenced rental as well, because there are certain places that, like Lakeside Estates and those other places where, and I'm mentioning these places because there's a record of some of these persons who are involved in fraud having a haven. They live there, and it's a community that has them. And so when you go into these estates, the prices of rental is so high because these people are ready to pay twice what people who are making clean money would be ready to pay. And so they are pricing out legitimate, earners. So what is the agency going to do about this? That is, if there's any plan at all.
Okay. So I have been told a story that the whole passing of the act was pushed somewhat with the fact that, by the fact that in 2018, I think we were grey listed by FATF, and then we were also blacklisted for money laundering non-compliance. As part of the country's obligations to take us out off of that, that is when the Land Act and the Real Estate Agency Act was passed. So for those of you who read the act, the act is made subject to the Anti-Money Laundering Act. So money laundering is a very critical part of what we do. But as I told Dr. Diaba, we would not see these advantages until a number of years down the line. It's data that will let us see, for instance, that a property which is worth 100,000, somebody is paying 600,000 for. At this point, because we don't have that data, we readily would not be able to tell. But as Mr. Ansong knows, we have been going on seminars with GIZ, the Financial Intelligence Center, and once we start regulation, it is an obligation for every regulated person to be money laundering compliant. So that would also give us information. That would also mean that unless people are not using the intermediaries, unless people are not going through agents or brokers or developers, if you're a developer and somebody turns up with $1 million to buy your unit, you should right away, draw a red flag. And we've been going through the ethical and financial considerations of, okay, this is my bread and butter. If somebody brings $1 million, I know I'm getting whatever, 10%. Why should I report them to FIC or IOCO? The problem is if you don't, and later down the line it is found out that you took $1 million on your front desk and counted it and did not report it, then you are an accessory to the person's crime. So you have to care about yourself. Even though the money is alluring, you must realize that you could very well be liable. So there are a slew of rules and regulations that would help us to counter the money laundering issue. But I think that the real benefits will be seen over a number of years progressively as opposed to initially. Yeah.
Okay, please, I'm Kingsley. And my question is, as a real estate agency, what are the key factors to consider when choosing a neighborhood?
When choosing?
A neighborhood.
A neighborhood?
Yes.
It depends on what you're looking for. Ordinarily, I would say you should choose a place which is near your work or your school, so you have convenience of travel, and also your budget. If you are by Trasaco and you work next door, it doesn't mean that you should go into Trasaco to look for a place to rent if you can't afford it. So it depends on a lot of factors, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Nana. Please, my question is, why are houses priced in dollars and not in cedis? Because let's say if a house is being sold for, let's say, 10,000 US dollars, that is approximately 130,000 Ghana cedis. So if, let's say, in 2 years' time, the dollar rises to, let's say, 15 per, $1 is 15 cedis, then that means obviously it's going to increase from 130 to 150. So why are houses priced in dollars?
You don't like the city cry. You are expecting it to depreciate further. Anyway, please, we're taking the last two questions. We need to move to the next. In fact, the last one. Yes, one.
Okay.
And so that, Nana, wait, let's take the last one.
Okay.
Okay, so I was reading Section 15 of the Real Estate Agency Act, and it states the functions of the CEO of the Real Estate Agency Council, and I would like to know how you are able to implement decisions, how you are able to implement decisions made by the board, and how you are also held accountable to the board.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, let me deal with yours first. So as a CEO, of course, I sit in terms of structure right below the board. The accountability to the board is through performance management submissions that we get from the Public Services Commission. So my board sets my targets, and then I set the targets for my staff. But that is further down the line, because we are now getting our staffing and all other things in place. But that is how the structure is. In terms of, I have the primary responsibility for driving the vision of the organization. So I also have to feed back to the board where I think the vision is in keeping with the law, and then that is how our relationships go. Is that, I could see that you're not happy with the answer. We'll take it, we are running late, so we'll take it after here. The last question, the issue with the...
Hello.
Oh, okay, there's another one.
All right, so I wanted to ask, how involved is information systems and technology being implemented in basic operations, and how can we keep up with the updating of information? Because recently, like when information comes out, maybe the information that we are dealing with in 2024, as of like 2026, people will come back and be like, oh, we don't have all the information now. So how are we going to combat that and make sure that everything we have is up to date? Yes, I'm done.
This is your question. Did you get it? Did you get it from ChatGPT? Information for us is something we collect. So it's as current as the information that those we regulate bring to us. And we will, as much as possible, keep it updated. We are not generating the information ourselves. We are collecting it. So as they come, we keep them updated, and we keep so. And for real estate, it is also important to have historic data. You know, you would want to know, for instance, sometimes when you're doing evaluation, you want to know how much a property sold for in 2010, because there's a dispute, and people would want to know how much they should have paid in 2010. So I'll go quickly on to the issue of dollarization. I know it's against the law to price in dollars, but I guess we also have to be realistic. If somebody is buying their equipment or wherever from Italy and all those other places, or even internally, and they are dollar indexed, then you're asking them whether it is fair for them to price in cedis. 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, the dollar was 6 cedis. The dollar to the cedi was 6 cedis. Now I think we are hitting 14 or so. So imagine if you had bought stuff at the dollar rate. Now if somebody pays you the cedi, is whether that can pay off what your debt is. So it is against the law to price in dollars, but I do not think it's against the law to index in dollars, because you're just trying to cover yourself, because you're in business at the end of the day, and you don't want to make losses. You need a certain amount of input to take you back into the market to keep your business running. And I guess that is why people do that. But I know it's against the law to price exactly in dollars. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope that you enjoy yourselves. Please make sure, as has been said by Madam Hannah, did you pick up anybody for the award?
Award?
So I didn't really get what I was looking for, but definitely I can't take it back. I was looking for somebody who really read the act and was asking a question.
I've got to be
on
honest,
real estate.
the question that I held on to was about the act.
Okay.
So because of time, let's.
So I'll leave it with you,
Yes.
Hannah. I guess throughout the day you can
We'll
set a different, because I
find
didn't
one.
get my marking scheme ticked off. So throughout the day or throughout the conference, you can find somebody who deserves it and give it to them. And whoever gets it, please let me know their name, and we'll see if we can assist further. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd run away, and I hope sometime in the future, when you take your careers in real estate, we'll cross paths again. Thank you.
Nana, thank you so much. Let's put our hands together for our keynote speaker. Thank you so much, Natex. And Next is a lady who has been crisscrossing our paths today, but just because of the passion that she has for young people getting into real estate, she, together with a team, have put together this all-important event. Madam Hannah Atiasi is the Chief Executive Officer of eWells Realty and Consultancy and the co-founder of GARIB, the Ghana Association of Real Estate Brokers. Hannah provides advisory services for homeowners, investors, and developers, and has also helped connect individuals in the diaspora to real estate opportunities in Ghana. She's knowledgeable in various aspects of real estate, including mortgage, financing, sales, marketing, leasing, and investment. eWells Realty and Consultancy is well respected in terms of the aspect of industry, and then also Hannah is a trusted voice in the sector. She has won several awards, including the Most Respected CEO in Real Estate 2020, and was nominated for the Feminine Achievement Awards in 2021 and won the Trusted Real Estate Broker of the Year in 2022. In March 2023, Hannah was crowned the overall African Woman Achiever in Real Estate at the African Women Awards in Ethiopia. Also, she has also received an award as part of the top 40 CEOs in Ghana. On 19th of May 2023, eWells Realty and Consultancy won the award for the Real Estate Brokerage Company of the Year at the Ghana West Africa Business Excellence Awards for its outstanding contribution to the business community. Hannah Atiasi has been ranked as one of the 50 most influential women in Ghana by Business Executive. On the 24th of November 2023, Hannah was awarded as the Outstanding Property Lady of the Year in 2023. Hannah has also appeared on the BBC World News and TV Africa's The Real Estate Market Show to discuss real estate investment opportunities in Ghana. Hannah's passion is to help people build wealth through home ownership. Ladies and gentlemen, please, shall we make welcome Madam Hannah Atiasi?
Good morning. All right, I think we started without prayer, so let me pray and then we can continue. Is that okay? Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this time together. We thank you for all the incredible youth that are here. We pray that they are empowered today and that they will become leaders in their community and in the nations as well. In Jesus' name, amen. Before I get started, I want to invite 3 of our national service personnel who are at eWells Realty and Consultancy. They're going to take exactly 30 seconds each to talk about their experience. The purpose of doing this African Youth in Real Estate Entrepreneurship Conference is to plant that seed for real estate in the lives of individuals and to link the theory, the professional studies, the in-classroom with the corporate entities. And it's so important that you have the hands-on mentorship, internship experience, and then you're able to segue into the real estate market. So I'm going to invite quickly Sana, Samuel, and Priscilla. If you can all, please give them a round of applause. These are my babies. Please come up. They all were part of the real estate finance and property management curriculum here. So please, if you want to talk briefly about your experience in the real world.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel Kwashi, an NSS personnel at eWells Realty. And I'd like to say that my time with them has actually been worth it, because I've been able to gain a handful of hands-on experience, which I wasn't able to get in the classroom. As many of you can know, I mean, it's just theory. When you enter the job market, that's when you really need the hands-on experience. So thank you to Ms. Hannah Atiasi for that. So I've been able to learn how to draft some real estate documents, which in school you wouldn't really learn how to do that. I've been able to go on site viewings with clients. I've been able to learn some aspect of real estate marketing, that's using softwares like the CRM, customer relation management. So with that software, you're able to do mass email, where, let's say you go out, you get leads, people who are interested in buying and selling, prospect clients. So you just put them on the CRM, and whenever, maybe you have, let's say, a property of the week, then you can just use that software to, mass email, mass market to them. Aside that, I've been able to learn how to negotiate and close deals, which, if there are some real estate students here, you know that in class you wouldn't learn how to do all those things. So, yeah, that's basically what I've learned. And I really like to thank everyone, Ms. Hannah Tiasi, and everyone that has been able to make this opportunity possible, and urge everyone here, including especially the real estate students here, to take that bold step. It's quite something, but just take that bold step, and then, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Chapani Itilisi Sena. I'm also an NSS personnel of EWAS Realty and Consultancy. I want to talk about the working experience that we've had right from the beginning when we went to EWAS Realty. Everybody was so welcoming. Everybody was so forthcoming with information that we didn't even know we needed, but desperately needed. The first day we went to the company, one of the sales personnel, he sat us down, took us through, the processes to buying properties, to selling properties, how to market. It was really eye-opening, because I think when people think about real estate, they think that it's just about buying and selling properties. But you guys have no idea the things we do to buy and sell these properties. We do marketing, the legal work, the research. It's amazing. And working here, every day I'm blown away with just what we learn. And a very big thank you to Ms. Hannah. Ms. Hannah has been such an inspiration. Every week we go to work and she's like, "Are you guys learning? Are you sure?" And I think a lot of people don't do that. A lot of the people in the industry, they're very closed off. They don't want to maybe give away their secrets, but Ms. Hannah is just always ready to give you information. If you want something, you go to her. And I'm very glad that I have the opportunity to work with her. And I'm even more excited for you guys, because she's bringing something where she picks people to be trained, to be giving the kind of training that we didn't even get. I struggled to get here. I struggled to get where I was, and you guys are being offered that opportunity right from the very beginning. So anyone that is here that wants to enter into the real estate industry, first of all, it's a lot of work, but it's absolutely worth it. The people that you meet, the connections that you gain is worth it. So if you're interested in real estate, please know that you've made the absolute best choice, and I wish you all in your endeavors. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Priscilla Williams, a recent graduate in Real Estate Management and Finance from UPSA. So for my national service period, I had a privilege of working with EWAS Realty and Consultancy, and I must say it's been an enlightening experience. So during my time here in EWAS Realty, I learned quite a lot, and I'd like to share some of what I learned and my experiences with you all. I learned the ins and outs of closing deals and negotiating of deals. I went on property inspections. I went on property viewings with clients on set, where I mastered the art in not just viewing properties, but also selling them. Interacting with both international and local clients taught me the importance of clear communication and handling of the right documents in all real estate transactions. I also gained insights in providing exceptional customer service to clients and making sure every client I interact with walks away satisfied. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be part of such a reputable company, and to take in account what Samuel said, Real estate is not just about buying and selling. There's a whole lot to it. And I would like to encourage each and anyone here who is interested in entering into that industry to take that bold step. It is worth it. Thank you all so much.
Well done, guys. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to be talking about choosing your real estate career. But before I get started, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Dean and the Vice Dean, and to thank Madam Gloria and Mr. Aponsa as well. You know, it's so wonderful for people to be able to see the vision and then wholeheartedly partner with the vision to see it come to fruition. So thank you so much for seeing this vision for the African youth in real estate entrepreneurship. I also want to thank our partners, Ghana Association of Real Estate Brokers, GAREB. We want to thank Beyond the Return for their constant support. I also want to thank Mikasa, and we want to thank our sponsor today, GIZ. Thank you so much to DAF as well and Property Express. All right, I also want to thank the A-Wire Committee, Rachel, Palmer, Senna, Florence. Let's give them a round of applause. They've been here since 7 a.m. setting up, and in the months ahead, they were preparing for this opportunity. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your commitment. All right, let's look towards the screen. Today, I want to talk briefly about the purpose of the conference and then the post-conference. I don't only believe in you coming to a conference, you get excited, and then nothing happens. So we also have a post-conference strategy, which I will be discussing as well. And then I'm going to talk about choosing your career in real estate, because there's this misconception that real estate is only about buying and selling properties. But I want to teach you the value chain concerning real estate, so we have a mindset shift. And then we're going to talk about how to get started. Because the biggest thing is, I love real estate, now what? What are the next steps? So we'll look at that as well. And then we'll talk about the company versus the student expectations when you're given the opportunity to do hands-on internship and mentorship programs. And then finally, Q&A. Now, I personally love a lot of questions, so make sure you jot down your questions, and at the end of the segment, I'll be sure to answer each and every one of them, all right? But even before I get started, I want to say, first of all, real estate is an extremely demanding career. Real estate is 24/7. I don't know why people always think that the house is going to disappear the next day, so people can call you anytime. As a real estate broker, agent, you find that you're working 24/7. So you've got to be passionate about this career. Number two, I want to encourage you to constantly invest in yourself so that you can always be the best in this industry sector. In today's world, it is so easy to find a lot of courses online. I find myself watching YouTube courses constantly on weekends, evenings, just making sure that I'm investing in real estate education as well, all right? And you want to always make sure that you study the property market, understand what is happening with market trends, so that when you meet a client, you are adding value to the transaction. And that is what will separate you from other real estate brokers, and you can ensure that you'll get a steady stream of clients. One of the key things as well is networking. I want to encourage people that every weekend you want to make sure you're out networking, because as we all know, your network is truly your net worth. So you want to make note of that as well. Not only networking to meet potential clients, but also networking with others who are in the real estate field so that you can partner together on some of the real estate transactions. And finally, I want to encourage you to stay connected. Stay connected with your mentors. These are people who would advise you, guide you, and ensure that you don't fall into the same pitfalls that we fell into when we were getting started, okay? All right, let's roll. So the purpose of this conference is to basically educate you on the real estate opportunities that are out there so that you can decide which real estate career you want to pursue. And then also, after this conference, we will be meeting with the dean and vice dean, and we will be selecting people from the real estate curriculum and placing you in various companies depending on your area of passion, because we want to make sure that you get that hands-on experience before you move fully into your career. So we're looking at the mentorship program, where you will be having monthly meetings, and then also internship opportunities, where it will be anywhere from 2 months to 1 month in the various industry sectors. Next slide. All right, what is real estate entrepreneurship? The first thing I have to say, it is a mindset shift. You want to demyth that concept of real estate only being for the wealthy. You can start with little to no resources. It's all about educational, personal branding, and marketing as well. And then again, we'll talk about the value chain. Next slide. All right. So now let's get into it. Let's talk about the various value chains of real estate. So what we have at Ewell's Realty and Consulting is what we call real estate brokerage. So real estate brokerage, you have the sales and marketing team, and these are individuals that help with clients who want to buy, sell, or rent their property, from commercial property, which is like shops, boutiques, retail, all the way to residential properties as well. And also industrial, which are things like warehouses as well, and factories and that sort of thing. So in the brokerage, that is where you find buying, selling, renting properties, and I think most people know about that. Under the real estate, you also have interior design. A lot of people don't know that these are all things that are part of the real estate industry. And then you have what you call the MLS, which is the multiple listing services. These are individuals that, just like the CEO was talking about, collecting data, getting properties, and listing it on various websites, as you see with Mikasa, which is the #1 online real estate platform. Another part of the real estate sector right now are video tours. How many of you love doing YouTube videos or doing videos in here? I see a few people. You can make it as a real estate career, where you go to various properties, you talk about it, and you do what you call video tours. That's all part of it. You know, Wodimayo is the #1 YouTuber, and you see they do a lot of different homes, from luxury homes to unique homes, small homes. They're different kind of homes. Lawn care is part of real estate. You need a lot of people who are what we call landscape artists. How many of you like landscaping? We need landscape artists, people who can keep the lawn beautiful, who can trim the bushes and that sort of thing. That's part of it as well. And property tours. Property tours comes under tourism. Now there is a big surge in real estate tourism. So you can actually have people who are coming in. You know, we get over 1 million visitors coming from overseas to Ghana, and a lot of them want to see the different kinds of real estate in Ghana. This is what we call real estate property tours. Social media marketing. How many people are into social media? Let me see your hands go up. Okay, perfect. We need digital marketers. These are people who can brand the company, who can market the properties. There is this whole thing of people being able to purchase online. If people are overseas, they should be able to look at a picture and say, wow, I want to buy this property. You know, people look at real estate investment opportunities. It's just like opportunities in the stock market. People don't actually go to the company to see the stocks, right? People look at the financials, it makes sense, and they purchase it. It's the same thing with real estate. If you're very good at social media marketing, you can get people to buy properties just by viewing them. Magazine columns. We have Property Express somewhere here, and what they focus on is writing about real estate in the magazine. How many of you love writing? Let me see your hands go up. Those of you who are in journalism. We need more people in this space who can write real estate blogs, who can write real estate magazines. You can have magazines from countryside living to urban living to city living. There's so many things that you can focus on. So what I'm trying to do is expand your mindset to understand that real estate is not only buying and selling. There's so many aspects to it. And we need all of these factors in our companies. Photography. How many photographers do we have here? Woo, just one in the back. We have to, we need a few photographers because videography and photography in real estate is so important. So if you are passionate in this area, and there's a way to take pictures. How many of you have seen pictures of properties? The room is very messy. You see the caretaker laying on the bed with his shirt off. That's not how we take pictures. So there's training for photography. There's training for videography to make sure that you capture the home in such a way that people look at it and say, I'm buying this property. So we need videographers, photographers as well. All right. Just briefly, some of the other real estate careers that you could venture into. Property management, we have Diane who's going to touch on that. So there's property management, there's facilities management, there's real estate finance as well. How many people are taking real estate finance? You have nobody? Okay, quite a few of you. Okay, because I think your professor's around somewhere. Real estate finance, yes. That is very helpful in the mortgage space. We need a lot of creative mortgages, not just for the locals, but for those in the diaspora as well. So in the banking sector, we do need those of you who've taken the real estate finance course. How many lawyers? We need real estate lawyers, especially those who can assist with every real estate transaction to do the due diligence to make sure that the owner is really the owner. How many times do we know that people find themselves in a situation where they've bought the house 3-4 times because they don't know who the actual owner is? Then you have the building inspectors. How many people know about a building inspector? A building inspector is very necessary. We have building inspector school where people can go and get their certificates. It's a very short course so that you can ensure that developers, sellers who are building their properties are following the building code. So it's very, very important. That's another real estate career. I've talked about videography and event management. How many of you know that in real estate, you can have event management? Anybody? Just me? Okay, well, what are we having right now? It's a real estate conference. Every year we hold 3 conferences. We have the African Youth in Real Estate, African Women in Real Estate, and then we have the First Time Home Buyers Conference. We need people to organize it. We have our event manager at the back. Florence, please give us a wave. So this is also part of your real estate career for those of you who are interested in that. Research. Senna talked about you have to do a lot of research. Yes, you have to do a lot of research to be able to give clients a market analysis, which just simply means the true value of the property that they're buying or renting. And we need to be able to collect data. How many of you love doing research? Let me get some hands today. Are we awake? Yes, yes, you love doing research. This would be your area in real estate, absolutely. Web design, Emina talked about it earlier. Every real estate company needs a website. So if you have a passion for web design, this is your opportunity. Graphic design as well. How many of you love renovation, putting things together? A lot of people are finding that they have to do home improvement. So renovation comes into play as well. So quickly, home improvement, matchmaking services. What am I talking about? A lot of times, homeowners may need a plumber. Where can I find a good plumber? Where can I find a good handyman? So what a lot of people are doing now is creating matchmaking services or real estate apps where you can go on the app, and we need, how many of you know how to design apps in here? Okay, at the back. So here's a great job for you. We need people who could design real estate apps for homeowners, who need to find electricians, plumbers, any lawn care expert, any handyman service. Where do they go? How do they know whether these individuals have been vetted or not? They could be on this particular platform. Architectural designs. How many architects do we have in here or are interested in designing properties? Excellent. We're talking, very good. We're talking about designing from residential to resorts, to commercial space, to hotels, to boutiques. We need architects. That's also another real estate space. Real estate training. We need teachers. We need trainers. Those of you who are passionate about training, we need real estate teachers for particular master classes that are done all the time, workshops as well. And these are courses that are done in the classroom and on the field as well. I talked about, that's also for architect, real estate blogs, content creation. How many of you have your own Instagram or social media platform? Now you can turn that to get some coins, because what is so important is content creation. We need it all the time. To get your property going, you've got to find a creative way to draw attention to that property that leads clients to it as well. So content creation, real estate apps. And guys, we're only at 22. There are over 70 different real estate paths for you to be able to choose from. So that's just a brief summary of that. Now, once you've decided, I want to perhaps do real estate blogs, or I want to write real estate columns, what is the next step? The next step is to get your mentorship or internship with a real estate company. There are many real estate companies out there with offices that are registered and are licensed as well in terms of under the business licenses. So the next step is to make sure you join this program's internship or mentorship, and then we will place you with the various companies. Last year, we selected 10 mentees. Some were in the construction and development with Signum Development. Others were in real estate law with M&O. Others were in facilities and property management with the BDZ Properties. And then you had others with eWells Realty. So we have several companies that are willing to take participants on as interns for the various real estate paths. Now, the question is, what is expected of those of you who want to be part of the mentorship program? First of all, I will say, make sure you show up. That's the key thing. Don't take advantage of this opportunity and then misuse it, and don't show up or you arrive late, okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you show up and actively participate. Make sure that you're a sponge. You're soaking in as much information as possible so that, you can excel in your area of work. And then also, you will get a certificate of completion after the internship program as well. The company will provide you with monthly assessments, so they will make sure that you've learned as much as possible in that real estate path, and then also they'll give you the hands-on training you need. You heard some of the individuals talk about they actually got the experience to meet, engage with clients, go out to the site, do diligence, and even draft tenancy agreement, sales and purchase agreement, and even participate in the negotiation process as well. So it's very hands-on. And then the long-term plan is to set up offices in various locations where students can begin to participate directly with potential clients. All right, I want everybody to stand up for 1 second, and I want you to just repeat this after me briefly. All the students, I want you to declare, I am great. Oh, you got to declare it like you mean it. I am great. I am innovative.
I am innovative.
I am creative.
I am creative.
I shift from a consumer mindset to a creator mindset. You got to remember this as you segue into real estate entrepreneurship. All right, great. Thank you. Have a seat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anna. Really, really appreciate this. Anna, are you coming back? Yes, please. Thank you very much. And please keep the questions in mind as we prepare for the next phase. Our next speaker is Madame Diane McAfee Latte. She's a seasoned real estate professional with over 7 years of diverse experience, excelling in property sales and management, currently serving as a head of lettings for Mobus Property Developments. She leverages her strategies in an acumen to oversee a wide-ranging portfolio, ensuring optimal profitability and growth, known for exceptional client and stakeholder relationships. Diane's proactive problem-solving and comprehensive market knowledge sets her apart in the industry. And Diane holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Geography and Resource Development from the University of Ghana, an NLB from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, and currently pursuing an EMBA in Finance from the University of Ghana Business School, underscoring her commitment to academic excellence and providing her with strong foundation in legal and business principles. Prior to her real estate career, Diane spent 4 years in retail and wholesaling banking at UBA Bank, where she also honed her client management and finance skills. With her academic background and professional experience, combined with a commitment to continuous improvement and innovation, Diane is poised to drive sustainable growth and make enduring contributions to the real estate sector's evolution and success. Ladies and gentlemen, please, shall we please welcome Diane? Let's put our hands together for her. Mrs. Diane Latte, thank you very much.
Thank you and good morning. I'd like to say a big thank you to Hannah. I love and admire her so much. Thank you, UPSA, for putting together such an informative, innovative, and inspiring program. I'm so big on career guidance because I'm sure that if I had that opportunity, I would have been higher than I am now. I personally wish it was a standard practice in the past. Today, I'm going to tell you about property management, the skills that you need to acquire to excel in this field in real estate. Let's do this exercise. Can we all close our eyes and imagine yourself in a luxury apartment, in cantonment or airport? You can open your eyes. Have you ever wondered who manages these properties? Have you ever wondered who takes care of these properties? Now we're going to look into the exciting world of property management. Let's roll. Next slide, please. So what is property management? Can I see the hands of anybody who has a landlord? Some of you live with your parents, so obviously, your parents are your landlords. A property management involves the day-to-day operations, control, and care and oversight of real estate. It involves managing residential, commercial, or industrial properties. The main responsibility of a property manager is, first of all, to do tenant screening and tenant sourcing, rent collection, maintenance, which falls under facility management, tenant relations, where you're doing check-ins and doing check-outs, financial management, where you're creating budgets, you're reporting to homeowners, and you're also reviewing lease agreements. Why choose a career in property management? You may want to choose a career in property management because when you look around the city, you see properties springing up all over the place. These are people's investments. Millions of dollars, thousands of dollars. You need to make sure that you put these properties in the appropriate hands. And that is why there's a need for a career in property management. There are also diverse opportunities when it comes to property management. You have residential, where you have apartments or townhouses or residential communities. We have commercial spaces like the ANC Mall, Accra Mall, or office complexes like the One Airport Square. You also have industrial properties like warehouses, so that there are diverse opportunities for property managers. Another reason why you should choose a career in property management, because it's exciting, is people-centric. You're always dealing with people. You're dealing with owners, you're dealing with tenants, you're dealing with vendors. There's always something new every day, and it gives you a unique experience every day. Next slide, please. Okay, so definitely you need skills to be able to excel in this field. One major skill that you need is a problem-solving skill. Imagine that you're at home sleeping at 12 midnight, and then your water gushes out of your bathroom, your apartment is flooding or your house is flooding. This is 12 midnight. Would you pick up the phone and call a plumber at that time? Do you think he will respond? I don't think so. The first thing you think about doing is to run together stopcock and close it. You will close it to prevent the source of water from coming into your home. Then in the morning, you can pick up the phone and call a plumber to come and fix it. This is a problem-solving skill. And as a property manager, you need to have that problem-solving skill. Another skill we'll look at is a soft skill, which is communication. You should be able to have great interpersonal skills. You'll be dealing with owners, you'll be dealing with tenants, you'll be dealing with vendors, and you need to be able to communicate properly and effectively to be able to be efficient at this. This is a soft skill. And also, as a property manager, as Hannah said, it's 24 hours. You don't close. It's not 9 to 5. The problems won't start at 9, and it won't end at 5 p.m. So you need to keep the communication line open. Make sure that you don't turn off your phone after 5 p.m. because you feel I've closed. Keep the communication line open. Another skill you need to have as a property manager is paying attention to detail. You need to make sure that you are very critical. You are managing cleaners. You need to make sure that they are not just cleaning the surfaces of things that people can see, but they are cleaning things that can also not be seen. You are handling people's properties, their investments. You are looking to maximize returns. You need to make sure that the facility is properly maintained. And so paying attention to detail, servicing your AZs on time, not waiting to always do fix the problem when it arises, but doing preventive measures. And then another thing to expect is adaptability. The world is dynamic. You don't expect that you'll be doing things one way. It is not a cookie-cutter approach. It is not a one-size-fits-all. For example, in the rental market, there are peak seasons and off-peak seasons. You shouldn't be the manager who says, I'm taking this amount of money all through the year. You don't care if it's off-peak. You don't care if it's peak. Then you are not having the owner's interest at heart. So you need to make sure that you're adaptable, you change with the seasons and time to be able to maximize the owner's returns. Let's go. You're done with school, you have your degree, you have your certificates. How do you get started? How do you get started? First of all, internships. I believe in internships. It can be paid internships, it can be unpaid internships, it can be voluntary. Just try and get your foot in. And that is why I'm excited about this AWIRE seminar, giving opportunity to young people like you to benefit from the internships. You need to get your foot in. Make sure that you have the right attitude. Have the right attitude, the learning spirit. Make sure that you learn as much as you can, and that is the only way that you'll be able to gather experience and climb the ladder. Networking. I wish I knew this earlier. I wouldn't have been the shy girl in school who's always just sitting in her corner, minding her business. I don't like trouble, so you don't interact with people. You need to network. We all belong to a community, physically and socially. You belong to a family. I'm sure we all go to church or go to the mosque. I'm sure we have our WhatsApp groups also running. I'm sure we all have old school associations that we belong to. You need to be active in your community. You have social media, TikTok, Instagram. You need to be active on your social media platforms. It's not all about just taking pictures and nice fancy places and posting them. You can tell your story on social media. You can tell people what you're interested in doing on social media. So make sure that you network, attend industry events. Make sure you join professional associations or networks. For example, eWells is organizing a first-time home buyers event in December. It's a paid event, but you can save up for it. Make sure that you attend these events because this is where you meet industry players and connect with them. That is how you will grow your network in the real estate industry. Continuous improvement. I love adding value to myself, and ever since I finished school, every year I plan on doing something. If I'm not reading a book, I am doing something on YouTube, learning about the real estate or learning about something that relates to whatever I am doing. There are free courses online. You can go on Coursera, learn things with regards to real estate on these sites. It's always good to add value to yourself, and that is how you will become the value. Mentorship. I love, love, love mentorship. I started my career in banking, and it is through mentorship that I have even come this far. So I have a whole slide on mentorship. Mentorship matters because you need to seek guidance from experienced professionals. It is a privilege to have people like Hannah here to hold your hand and walk you through the process. Make sure that you take advantage of it. They will give you personal advice and support you. How do you find a mentor? You find a mentor at events such as this. Make sure that when you go, you don't just sit at the back or sit in a corner, and when you finish, you take your notes, pick your bag, and then you leave. Say hello. You can say hello to someone, introduce yourself, and that is how you find mentors. There's LinkedIn. You can slide into people's DMs, send them a message. You can even admire them from a distance. Just watch how they've grown their career, and that is how you find mentors. And then also joining mentorship guidance. There's career progression when it comes to property management. So you start from being an intern, and then you go to being an associate property manager, where you help the property manager run the day-to-day operations in property management. And then you can move up the ladder to a regional property manager, where you are not just handling a single property, but you're handling many other properties in different locations, all under one umbrella. Then you can climb up to be a director, an executive in a property management company, and also own your own business in property management. Okay, let's go. The next slide, please. So what's next for property management? We know the era we are in now. It's an IT era. In 10 years, do you believe that we'll be doing things the same way we're doing it now? I'd like to challenge all the IT people here to think outside the box. Think about IT solutions that you can come up with to automate the property management process. So we all know the Internet of Things. Imagine that I live in Koforidua and I have a property I'm managing in Cantonment. I have a client or a guest who's checking in at 11 p.m. Would I move from Koforidua to come and open him up at 11 p.m.? I could easily, miles away, set up an OTP on my door lock, give him the passcode that will be working at 11 p.m. This guest is staying for 5 days. I set it such that on the 5th day at 11 a.m. when he's supposed to check out, that passcode expires. These are the things we need to be thinking about and automating the property management industry. So I challenge the IT people, think outside the box, look for solutions. You will make a lot of money when you do these things right. Property management, facility management. Some people confuse the two most of the time, but facility management is actually under the property management umbrella. So property managers manage the real estate properties. They focus on tenant relations, rent collections, and financial goals, while the facility manager oversees the operation and the maintenance of the building. And when I say maintenance, I'm talking about painting, making sure that the building is looking good, there are no hairline cracks, the ACs are functioning properly, all the light bulbs are working, the tap is running, there's no leakage, the tiles are well laid. This is facility management. The generator is working. Everything is functional when it comes to the property itself, which we'll say are the hard services. So the facility manager ensures the smooth facility operations, coordinates maintenance, security, and space management. So property management is like a real-life problem-solving hero. You have to make sure that you're always on your toes, thinking outside the box, thinking on your toes, and doing what is best to maximize the returns of the owners of these properties. Thank you very much. And you can do a little exercise for me. I'm sure you all have smartphones. You're on Instagram, you're on LinkedIn. Pick up your phone and look me up on Instagram. It is your_Realtor Diane. And follow me for more tips. Thank you.